So, maybe a surprising video coming from myself, but in this video, I want to talk about why I probably wouldn't pre-order Black Bolt and White Flare products as of right now. Usually, I'm pretty bullish. I've said to buy, Prismatic Evolutions ETBs at $100 or under, buying from the recent restocks. I've gotten some, people that don't agree with that, and it is what it is. But I've been pretty bullish on certain things like that, even if it's above MSRP. However, for this set, for me, I would say probably buying at the current prices you can pre-order for right now. I really wouldn't. So I want to explain this video why that is. But at first, I guess just want to give my opinions about this set. So I started collecting Pokemon in the black and white era, so I am very familiar with a lot of these Pokemon. I was really into collecting Pokemon cards black, white, and X and Y, mainly X and Y. So I do resonate with some of these Pokemon. It is somewhat nostalgic for me to see these Pokemon because I remember having some of these cards back then and just seeing these Pokemon. So for me, it is somewhat of a nostalgic, sort of era because that's when I first started collecting. However, it's been said plenty of times, I'm pretty sure you probably heard it, black and white is not the most popular era ever, right? So a lot of the new people right now in Pokemon, they might not really resonate with any of these Pokemon or really know what these are because maybe they're just they just know maybe Sword and Shield Pokemon. Maybe they only know Scarlet and Violet era Pokemon. But yeah, that's I guess one thing about this set. For some, they may resonate with it and may be nostalgic, but for probably many people that are new, this set in the Pokemon may not have much meaning to them. But for me, I like the set because I somewhat resonate with it. But for others, maybe not. But regardless, right? Regardless, I guess of me, I guess being nostalgic with the set or whatever. I think the artworks in this set are extremely clean. There's been controversial, I guess, designs in the Scarlet and Violet era. I guess the main one, maybe the only one being the crowns, right? Some people really not liking that design. It's been heavily criticized in this era, but this set doesn't have really any crowns. So this set overall, I mean, you just look at the artworks and you even put the Pokemon aside. Maybe some of these aren't the most popular Pokemon, but the artworks. Like this is I think Black Bolt. Just look at all of these artworks. Like they're so clean. I really like this Victini. I think this might be a promo card. But just all of these artworks. You just look at them, they're super clean, no crowns or anything. And honestly, they all just look really nice. I like this Emolga here. Just everything. All these are super nice. I just like this set for the artwork and how it is. And I think even people that aren't really nostalgic with the set, just the artworks are really great in the set. And here are some of the SARs, man. Even the SIRs are really nice. The Kyurem here, the Zekrom, even the Meloetta, pretty cool. Some of these other ones, Genesec's cool. Superior, just all really cool artworks. We have N here. We have the monochromatic cards. These are probably going to be, some of the most expensive cards, depending on how hard they are to pull. But these are going to be pretty cool. So just overall the set, and it has the most IRs and in any set really. I know they're separate. White Flare and Black Bolt are different sets, but you combine them, and even I think individually they probably have the most IRs in any set. In Scarlet and Violet. So I'm just showing you guys here. All the artworks are really great. You can just see all them. They just all look really nice. So that's just my opinion on the sets. They look really cool. The Reshram's cool. Keldeo's cool. Just everything, in my opinion, is great about the set. I don't have really any complaints about the artworks. But like I said, I really still wouldn't be buying at the current price points. So if you go on TCG Player, they have now separated the listings because originally they only had the Black Bolt ETBs and the White Flare ETBs listings, but they were actually PC ETBs. They have actually now made separate listings for the PC ETBs, so these are actually the prices of the normal ETB. On TCG Player, these are selling for about $135. Same thing with the White Flare. These are actually a little bit cheaper. So they're selling in like the 130s. But if you do go to eBay, you will be able to find these for cheaper. As you can see here, you can buy a set of these ETBs for $210, which comes out to $105 in ETB. And if you want to buy the PC ETB, they're around $150. So even at this price point, though, right at $105 each, I still wouldn't buy this. Now, this set, I think will perform fine, right? I think it's not going to be extremely cheap, right? It's not going to be under MSRP or anything, but I do heavily believe that Black Bolt White Flare prices, at least from 110, I really truly believe they will go lower. And I just have good reason to believe this because of Prismatic Evolutions and the prices of those ETBs. I can't really see these, even out the gate, even if there's some hype to it, I can't see these being more expensive than Prismatic Evolutions ETBs. Even though some people may like the artworks better in the set, I think just overall, black and white, just that sort of era just surrounding the set, in my opinion, it's the hype is gonna be there for a little bit, but I feel like the situation, it's not gonna be exactly the same, but I feel like it might be sort of like Journey Together, in the way that Journey Together had a ton of hype building up to it. And I think that's gonna happen, and it's sort of, I guess, happening with the set. A lot of people like the artworks. People have, pulled some stuff from the Japanese side. A lot of people seem to like the set. I don't know how the pull rates are. I think there being this many IRs, I can't imagine pull rates being extremely hard. So pull rates are also easy. That's another thing to consider. But I do think that there is going to be initial hype with Black Bolt and White Flare, but I do think it will subside relatively quickly, kind of like Journey Together. Journey Together had hype, right? The first week, it had hype. Prices dipped a tiny bit. It wasn't crazy, but after that week, things went downhill pretty quickly. And I do feel like Black Bolt and White Flare is sort of going to be like Journey Together, where there will be initial hype and prices will be sort of high. But I do think after a couple weeks, prices, especially for the set, will go down. I do truly believe that. So buying at 105, and in this case, double MSRP, I do think buying right now probably wouldn't be the best idea ever, especially because this is the last set of the era, right? And when we go into the next era, the Mega Evolution era, if that era, right, isn't extremely strong, let's say the first set comes out and people don't really like it, well, possibly then we're going to have a set like Black Bolt White Flare, maybe not perform extremely well, like maybe Destined Rivals or Prismatic Evolutions, and then we have another set come out, like the Mega Evolution set, whatever, maybe that doesn't perform well, then the market might see some sort of downturn, right? Possibly. This is all theoretical because I'm not saying it's going to happen. And then these prices might actually dip down further. But I do really believe that the prices of these ETBs at 105 really is not that great of a pickup. And like I said, a big reason for that is Prismatic Evolutions. Prismatic Evolutions ETBs are around like $100 to $110 because recently we all know they got restocked and stuff. And just the fact that Prismatic Evolutions ETBs, right? The fact that they're the same price basically as the normal ETBs, it'd be really hard to argue buying the Black Bolt and White Flare ETBs over a Prismatic Evolutions ETB when they're literally the exact same price, and these Prismatic Evolutions ETBs just got like a couple of restocks. In my opinion, it'd be super hard to argue that buying this right now is a smart idea. The fact that these right now are the same price, we just got a restock, I feel like even people that hate Prismatic and all the things about it, I think people, if you had to pick buying a Black Bolt White Flare ETB at $105 or buying a Prismatic Evolutions ETB at $105, I truly believe a lot of people, probably 99% of people, would probably pick Prismatic Evolutions because guess what? This total set value is still above $5,000. The top chase card is still above $1,000. Will this set be over, $5,000 total set value? I don't really think so. It has a lot of IRs, so it will be probably pretty expensive, but I can't see it being more expensive than Prismatic, and I don't see the top chase card being over $1,000. So I just think if you look at Prismatic and you compare the pricing of the ETBs to Black Bolt White Flare, this makes no sense to buy. And, obviously, there could be arguments to be made that, the artworks are maybe better in Black Bolt White Flare, right? And I honestly would maybe agree with that because I like how those artworks really look because, Prismatic has a lot of the crown stuff that people don't like, but it does have evolutions, which is the big thing. Chases are hard. There's God Packs, Master Balls, which I think this set will have, but Prismatic definitely, evolutions, hard chases, it's a very expensive set, and the fact that ETBs are the exact same price, I just can't justify buying this, and I will not be buying these ETBs at $105 each. Now, that does beg the question then, what then is a good price? I don't know, right? Because this set is the end of the era. We're going into a whole new era. This is a different situation than previous sets because it is transitioning into another era, and, black and white. We'll see how it performs because this market right now is filled with a lot of new people. A lot of new people may not care about black and white, so they might not really resonate with the set. But I could be wrong. Maybe this whole Black Bolt White Flare thing, even though it is the black and white era, maybe the artworks carry the set and people don't really care too much that maybe they don't really know the Pokemon and they'll just buy the product because it has a ton of cool cards in it. That's possible. But I think there's just a lot of uncertainty right now in this market to justify buying these at 105. And I do think they will drop in price. And they're the exact same price as Prismatic. And I think if people are having a hard time arguing that buying a Prismatic ETB at $100 is a bad idea, and people are saying that you shouldn't buy those, I don't see how this is a good idea. So that's just my opinion. I know it's crazy. I'm saying not to buy this, but I truly believe these will drop. I don't know how much they will drop, but I don't think they're gonna stay above $100. That's just my honest opinion. Just me saying that. Like I said, I could be completely wrong because this set has so many IRs in it, has the monochromatic cards. It's really, really a great set. Both of these. But it's just very uncertain what's going to happen, and I wouldn't be paying $100+ for each of these ETBs. So you guys can let me know what you think. Do you think I'm wrong? Do you think this is going to go crazy, or do you think, like me, that these are probably going to drop a little bit here? And I think pre-ordering right now at over $100 in ETB is probably not the best idea ever, especially because we're transitioning into this new era. It's the end of the era. It's sort of uncertain with the market right now. So that's all I have to say here. Just wanted to give my opinions about Black Bolt and White Flare. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.